What if fixing a scratched bumper could make you $600 in just 2 to 3 hours outside right in someone's driveway? Since 2011, I've trained over 30 technicians who've collectively generated over $14 million in revenue. So in this video, I'm going to show you my exact process step by step so you can see how easy it is to start building your own six-figure mobile auto body business so you can take back control of your income, your time, and your life. All right, so we're here at a customer's house. We've got pretty simple, typical bumper blend. They found me through the internet and went to my landing page, filled out a form estimate, and I just sent them off an estimate. They accepted it and they scheduled their own appointment online, and I just showed up here today. We're going to take care of this today. Every one of these is kind of unique. So we had a little bit of rain this morning, and so in this video I kind of wanted to talk a little bit more about just working in the mobile environment instead of just a process video. So I wanted to add a little bit of some extra commentary on what it's like to work in a mobile environment. So again, we had some rain, so you see we're a little wet here. So I'm actually going to take my blowgun and just kind of blow all this water, because for obvious reasons, we don't want water anywhere near where we're going to be working, because I don't want a water droplet to drip out of a seam or something like that right into my base coat or my clear coat. So we're going to get this blown off, and then we're going to do some taping because our damage is close to this trim piece here. And so I'm going to tape that off, probably just tape before I start grinding into it. Hey guys, I just wanted to interrupt this video for a really quick second. If you're a hands-on car enthusiast and you want to build a real business with the kind of freedom that most people only talk about, this opportunity might make a lot of sense for you. Just click the link down in the description to work with me directly inside my mobile auto body accelerator. Now, let's get back to the video. There's no deep gouges or anything, so it's just gonna be a straight 180, sand the damage out, and then we'll do some adhesion promoter and some primer and some base coat and some clear coat. So that's kind of an overview of what we're gonna be doing today. All right, so the first thing that we're gonna do, like always, is clean the damaged area with wax and grease remover that we're gonna spray onto our rag. And I always, with wax and grease remover, I always clean the surrounding areas as well, like tail lights. Make sure you get in all these seams really well. And then any adjacent panels where you're gonna be putting tape and paper, just so that it's free of any silicones, waxes, grease, debris. And obviously your tape and paper needs to be able to stick. So I just like to clean everything really well. All right, so I've got this taped off just so that I don't hit anything with my sandpaper surrounding the damage. So this is, like I mentioned, I'm going to do a blend. I don't need to paint the entire bumper. I'm going to sand all this damage out. And by the time you sand the damage out and feather out the edges and then you do your primer, you're going to be getting down this way, and I've got to be able to blend out the base coat. So I'm probably going to blend around this corner and blend over here on the narrow part of the bumper in an inconspicuous area, so you won't see it. All right, so the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to take 180 on my DA. And before you say anything, yes, I am using an inexpensive DeWalt electric DA, okay? The reason I'm doing this is because I'm showing guys that you do not need expensive tools and equipment to do this. This gets the job done. We have generated millions of dollars in this business since 2012 using a $78 DeWalt electric sander from Home Depot, okay? So it can be done. So I'm going to take my 180 and I'm going to start sanding out the damage and start feather edging a little bit with the 180. Makes it a little bit easier. It's a little bit more aggressive. And then I'll move to 320 to really get out the 180 grit sand scratches and then feather edge all the edges with the 320. All right, I just got done DAing the damage with 180, and now I'm just going to move on to 320 to get out all the 180 sand scratches and then feather edge all the edges. All right, so I've sanded all the 180 sand scratches out with the 320, and I just wanted to point out something, a little tip. Like whenever you have sharp body lines like this, if you're using the DA, once you start sanding on these body lines, you can really start chasing this thing. It'll keep going and going and going. So usually areas like this, I like to finish off by hand so I don't create too large of an area. So I really want to feather edge these edges around sharp body lines like this by hand. All right, so I've feather edged everything with 320 by hand, and now I'm going to blow off all the sanding dust and probably hit this thing with wax and grease remover again, because I do feel probably some tire dressings and things on the vehicle. So I'm just going to make sure it's cleaned really, really well. I'll keep using plastic surface cleaner, you'll see, actually throughout the entire repair process. So I'm going to get this blown off, wax and grease remover, and then I'm going to go ahead and paper everything up so I can start applying my primer. All right, so I've got everything papered off. Just gotta finish papering this off here, but I'm gonna go ahead and scuff the damaged area, and everywhere where I'm gonna apply base coat and clear coat with a sanding sponge. I typically take these sanding sponges and I'll fold them in half. That way I'm not putting too much pressure with my fingers on the sponge. If I fold it in half, I get good even pressure. And I'm just gonna scuff. This is the equivalent, by the way, of about 600 to 800. 600 when it's new, and then by the time you're done, it's about 800. Scuff this entire area, and then we'll be ready to start applying primer. So I got everything scuffed. Then I'm gonna go ahead and wipe the area with wax and grease remover. And then I'm going to apply some adhesion promoter, and then I'll be ready for primer. All right, so I got my adhesion promoter on the bare plastics. You always have to apply adhesion promoter if you're ever exposed to plastic. So I did that, and then I used a heat gun to sort of flash it off and help speed up the curing process. And that's the thing, a lot of guys think that you can't do this all year round, but actually we do. We never, in the 15 years that we've been in business, we've never taken time off because it was too cold. So there's ways around it. You know, you can heat things up with warm water. You can use heat guns. Even in the summertime, I actually use a heat gun, believe it or not, because I'm spraying, and then I use waterborne paint. And so I'm flashing off that water activator. So it just helps everything just go more quickly, right? It's more efficient. When in a mobile environment, the name of the game is to do a quality repair, make the customer happy as quickly as possible, doing all of the proper steps. That's what we're doing. And that's what I teach my students inside of my program. All right, so I got the adhesion promoter flashed off with the heat gun, and now I'm gonna go ahead and start priming the damaged area first. Anywhere there's 320 grit sand scratches, that's basically what I'm trying to fill. I'll typically do 2 to 3 coats of primer. And I'll scuff in between coats, because what I'm trying to do is not only fill the sand scratches, but I don't want to see any mapping around my repair. So mapping is where you didn't feather out your edges well enough, and you'll actually see, if you look at a globe, you know, you can see the ridges and things on a globe. You'll see that underneath your repair. So you really want to make sure everything's feathered out and smoother. You will see it. Like, you cannot hide it with primer, base coat, or anything else. You've just got to get your coats on there, scuff in between coats, look at it on the flop, and make sure it just looks completely flat and seamless. All right, I'm done priming the area. I've hit it with a heat gun, but this is a good opportunity to go and mix the base coat now, because that last coat of primer, I like to just let sit for a while I mix the base coat up. And then when I come back, I'll scuff the area, and then we'll be ready for base coat. All right, so to mix the base coat, on a lot of vehicles, the base coat color is going to be either on the door itself or on the jamb. And so on Jaguars, it's down here on the door jamb, Polaris white. I don't know if you can see that. So I'll just look that color code up in my app that I have on my phone, and it tells me exactly by gram weight, exactly what to mix up on my scale with all my toners. So it's a custom mixed paint right on site at the customer's house. All right, it's probably been about 5 to 10 minutes. We'll call it 7 minutes. And the primer has been curing up. So I'm gonna go ahead and hit it one last time, knock the top off with my sanding sponge. And I don't know if you noticed earlier in the video, but I'm only going to about here with the sanding sponge, starting to go around this corner. And then the remainder of the way until my blend, I'm going to use 1500 grit. And that's going to be my blend line. And so when I go to blend with my reduced blender clear, I don't want to go past the 1500 grit sand scratches. That's where I'm going to stop. And then I'm going to use straight blender and blend the old clear into the new clear. Been doing this for 15 years, don't have failures. All right, so I've gone ahead and scuffed the entire area, knocked the primer down, scuffed the entire rest of the bumper, and I took my scuff with my 6 to 800 sanding sponge about 3 inches or so before my blend line, and then the remainder of the way I used 1500 grit to my blend line, and I'm basically using the contour of this bumper here, this seam, and that's where I'm going to blend my clear in the smallest part of the bumper. So now I'm going to go ahead and wax and grease remover the entire area off and well beyond my blend line so that I don't have any issues with my blend and the blender just flashes it off perfectly. I did forget to mention I've got this seam here and I'm taking my clear right to that seam. And so I don't really want to get overspray inside the seam. So I'm going to back tape along this sharp edge of the bumper. All right, I got everything scuffed, cleaned off with wax and grease remover. I've done my blend line, I've back taped, and now I'm ready to start applying base coat. I use a waterborne base coat, so it's going to look weird when it goes on, but then it flashes to the perfect color match. And waterborne paint, especially the paint line I use, is amazing color match. I've never had an issue with a color. So I'm going to start getting coverage over my primered area, and then with each successive layer I'll move a little bit beyond that primered area to really blend the paint out, being sure to stay clear of my clear blend line. All right, I forgot, I wanted to give you guys a little bit of a tip with clear. So remember, I've got my 6 to 800 line here, and then another 2 to 3 inches or so, I've got my 1500 blend line. And so remember, I don't want my clear to go past that 1500 blend line. So I always put a mark with a Sharpie of where I do not want to go past. And so I know to stop my clear at this line, and then I'll use my blender to blend in the old and new. All right, I've got my base coat on. It's blended out well. It's been tacked off. My blend line is clean. I'm gonna go ahead and start clearing. It's 2 wet coats of clear. It's a 2-to-1 clear. And I've got a medium activator in. It's about 60 degrees or so today, so it's perfect for a medium activator. And I'm going to come to my 6 to 800 blend line with my first layer of clear. My second layer, I'm going to overlap, and then just shy of my blend line, I'm going to reduce it by 50% with some blender and go right to that blend line. And then after that, I'll use my pure blender and blend that blend line for a seamless repair. Now, if you're watching this video thinking, man, I would love to learn how to make that kind of money doing that, then don't miss this next video right here.